Suzette delivers it with barely concealed satisfaction, a message containing a link, a photograph, a tabloid caption. The image shows Anna and Catherine together, Anna wearing one of Claire's dresses, the caption identifying her as the New York director of Irwin's. Every misrepresentation she's been maintaining for weeks is now in print, publicly visible, professionally damning. The office shifts around her like a tide going out. Claire's face closes like a door. There is no speech, no dramatic confrontation, just the cold mechanical process of institutional consequence. Anna is escorted out by security, her badge surrendered, her access revoked. New York City. The skyline breathes in cold morning light, glass towers reflecting a sky that doesn't care how hard you're trying. And somewhere in a cramped apartment buried in the noise of it all, Anna Santos is already running late. She maneuvers past half-unpacked boxes and borrowed furniture, sharing a space that was never really hers with her sister Vivian and Vivian's fiancé Ronnie, who has made it abundantly clear that Anna's welcome is expiring. There's a particular kind of quiet humiliation in being told, not unkindly, but firmly, that you need to move on, when moving on requires money you don't have. Anna holds a master's degree in art history. She studied the brush strokes of masters, memorized the provenance of works worth millions. And yet here she is, still an intern, still sleeping on borrowed time, still dreaming of a world that hasn't yet opened its doors to her. She glances at her reflection, a quick, searching look, straightens her jacket with careful precision, and steps into the city like she belongs to it. Because someday, she tells herself, she will. Irwin's auction house is the kind of place where silence costs money and a misplaced comma can unravel a seven-figure deal. The auction floor hums with the controlled energy of people who have trained themselves never to look impressed. At the center of it all stands Claire DuPont, played with razor-sharp precision by Marissa Tomei, a woman whose perfectionism isn't a personality trait so much as a survival philosophy. She runs Irwin's with an authority so absolute that even her assistants move like satellites caught in her gravitational pull. Anna is positioned at the edges of this solar system, watching a live auction unfold on a monitor when something stops her cold. A single word, a wrong word. The auction catalog has mislabeled the paint type on a piece that's about to sell, a detail most people would scroll past, but Anna's eyes have been trained to catch exactly this kind of error. She doesn't hesitate. She crosses the room, interrupts the current order of things, and delivers the correction to Claire just before the gavel falls. The room adjusts. Claire's gaze, usually a weapon, shifts toward Anna, recalibrates, and registers something new. Not warmth, but recognition. The employee responsible for the catalog, Billy, is fired within the hour. Claire's invitation arrives the next morning like a small miracle dressed as a task list. Anna is to pack Claire's bags, come directly to the airport, and join the team on a work trip to London as the assistant to the assistants. It's the bottom rung of an already low ladder, but Anna takes it with both hands. What she doesn't anticipate is the particular cruelty of Suzette and Renee, Claire's two established assistants, who view Anna's presence not as helpful reinforcement but as a territorial threat. They smile in front of Claire. They sharpen their knives when she's not looking, and they wait specifically, strategically, until the moment of boarding to reveal what they've done. Anna's ticket isn't for this flight. It's economy class on a plane that departs 4 hours later, a passive-aggressive masterpiece designed to inconvenience her just enough to establish the hierarchy without leaving fingerprints. Anna absorbs the blow with visible effort, turning away so Suzette and Renee don't get the satisfaction of her reaction. But the check-in agent at the desk has been watching. She's seen this kind of thing before, the small power plays, the polished condescension, and she makes a quiet, generous decision. She upgrades Anna's ticket. First class. On the earlier flight, the first-class lounge is a different country from the life Anna normally inhabits. Soft lighting, actual glassware, the kind of ambient calm that costs more per hour than most people make in a day. Anna moves through it with the careful wonder of someone trying very hard to look like they belong, helping herself to a drink with the nonchalance of someone who has absolutely earned this. And then, in the graceless, irreversible way that fate tends to announce itself, she turns too quickly, loses her grip, and sends her drink cascading across the chest of a man standing nearby. He reacts with surprise rather than anger, looking down at the mess on his jacket with a kind of resigned acceptance. Anna is mortified. Words tumble out of her, apologies, explanations, more apologies, before she retreats behind a face mask, both practical and conveniently concealing. The man she drenched is handsome in an understated way, composed, self-possessed, the kind of person who makes a ruined shirt look like a deliberate choice. He doesn't know her name. She barely registers his face before making her escape. Later, settling into her first-class seat on the plane, Anna exhales, and then freezes, because the man with the ruined jacket slides into the seat directly beside her. He looks at her without recognition. The mask worked, and for one suspended moment, neither of them says a word. His name is William. He offers it easily, without performance, the way people do when they're genuinely comfortable in their own skin. He's an advertising executive. He explains he was in New York for a job interview, and now he's heading home to celebrate his mother's birthday. There's something in the way he talks about her that signals warmth underneath the polished surface. Anna listens, recalibrates, finds herself genuinely charmed. And then the question comes, the natural, conversational exchange of strangers learning each other's outlines. What does she do? A beat passes. Something in Anna shifts, maybe the altitude, maybe the champagne, maybe the accumulated exhaustion of years of being underestimated. A miscommunication blooms between them, and William lands on the impression that she's a director at the auction house. Anna doesn't correct him. She tells herself it's harmless. She tells herself it won't matter. She opens her mouth and lets the version of herself that she's been working toward, the one with authority, with tenure, with earned confidence, step into the conversation instead of the intern who still shares a bathroom with her sister. By the time the plane crosses into international airspace, they're deep in conversation. Art, cities, the way light moves differently in London than anywhere else. William laughs at something she says. Anna laughs back, and for a few hours at 35,000 feet, the life feels like a costume she deserves to wear. Landing in London is the moment the story gets complicated. William's mother Catherine is waiting, regal, perceptive, the kind of woman who reads people with the ease of long habit. She greets Anna warmly, folding her into conversation with a naturalness that catches Anna slightly off guard. Catherine believes what William believes, that Anna is a senior figure in the art world, someone whose professional opinion carries real weight. Anna steps carefully through this new geography, offering enough truth, her passion for art, her genuine knowledge, to keep the fiction structurally sound. When Anna realizes she left her laptop in Catherine's car, an invitation arrives: come to the house, collect it, stay for a bit. The house is extraordinary. High ceilings, layered history, and a library that stops Anna cold. The walls are covered in paintings, a private collection of staggering depth and beauty, each piece carrying not just monetary value but emotional weight. Anna moves through the room the way she was trained to, reading the work, feeling the relationships between the pieces, noticing the love embedded in the curation. She speaks about what she sees with a quiet reverence that moves Catherine visibly. And then the revelation: Catherine is the widow selling the Bravo collection. She is Irwin's most important client, and she is Anna's secret. Anna asks her, gently, to keep their connection private. She doesn't want to step on Claire's territory. Catherine agrees. Two women, each holding the other's truth lightly. What follows is the kind of sequence that movies are built for, the montage where everything clicks into place. Anna and William orbit each other across London's most beautiful backdrops, gallery openings, rainy streets, dinners where the conversation runs long and the wine runs short. There's a scene with Julian Marks, an eccentric painter Catherine introduces, whose art has accrued extraordinary value through the audacious act of faking his own death. Julian watches Anna with the sharp curiosity of someone who recognizes a fellow performer of a necessary fiction. Meanwhile, at Irwin's, Anna's association with Catherine begins to shift the gravitational field of the office. Claire notices that Catherine defers to Anna. William's world opens doors that Anna could not have knocked on as herself. Suzette and Renee watch her ascent with the particular bitterness of people who moved all the pieces and still somehow lost the game. Anna doesn't bloat. She works. She absorbs every new experience with the focus of someone who knows this window might not stay open forever. The London she moves through now, rooftop parties, private dinners, candlelit conversations, is the world she always imagined herself in, and the gap between the life she's performing and the life she's actually living narrows with each passing day. But gaps have a way of reopening, usually at the worst possible moment. The news arrives without ceremony. Catherine has decided to pull the Bravo collection from the market. No explanation offered to Irwin's. Just a withdrawal, quiet, absolute, immediately catastrophic. Claire's office becomes a pressure chamber. Every assistant, every associate, every senior staff member is trying to map the blame before it maps them. The whisper going around is about whoever may have spoken to Catherine informally, whoever may have, without authorization, introduced personal sentiment into a professional negotiation. Anna sits with this knowledge like a stone dropped into still water, watching the ripples move outward. She knows exactly what happened. Her conversation in Catherine's library, the one about love embedded in paintings, about what it means to sell something that holds your history, got through to Catherine in a way that pure commerce never would have. It worked on the woman, and in working on the woman, it undid the deal. When William arrives at the office to share news, he got the job, he'll be moving to New York. Anna can't receive it cleanly. The weight of what's unraveling presses too hard against the joy of what he's offering. She pulls him aside and instead of celebrating, she unravels. She pushes back against his ease, his privilege, his ability to move through consequences that don't seem to reach him. He fires back. He names what he sees. She used his connections. She is, he says, just like everyone else who has ever moved through his life extracting value. He leaves. She stays. And then comes the photograph. She stands outside on a London pavement with the particular disorientation of someone whose carefully constructed world has just been disassembled in real time. She calls her sister. Vivian answers, and the conversation that follows is one of those moments where multiple losses arrive in the same breath. Her job is gone, her relationship with William has fractured, and when she returns to New York, she'll need to find somewhere new to live. The city that had briefly felt like it was opening to her now feels very far away. Anna leans against the wall, not crying, not collapsing, just breathing, steadying herself, letting the dimensions of what's happened settle around her before deciding what comes next. Anna goes to Catherine's house. Not with a strategy, not yet, but because it's the only place in London that still feels like it might receive her honestly. She sits across from Catherine and Julian Marks and tells them everything. Not a managed confession, not a calculated disclosure, the actual truth, in full, without the architecture of performance holding it up. She was an intern. She was scared of being underestimated. She let a misunderstanding breathe and grow because being seen as more than she was felt like the only way to be seen at all. Catherine listens without interrupting. When Anna finishes, the silence in the room is gentle rather than punishing. And then Catherine does something unexpected. She tells Anna that she, too, was using her, not maliciously, but strategically. She pulled the Bravo collection not out of sentiment, but as a negotiation tactic. She wanted better terms. She wanted a different kind of partnership. And she believes, she says, that Anna can be that partner. The two of them, the young woman who lied her way into a room and the older woman who knows exactly what rooms are worth, arrive at something rare, a deal built on actual mutual respect. Catherine will sell the collection through Irwin's, with Anna managing it on her behalf. All they have to do is walk back in together. Anna walks back into Irwin's beside Catherine with the particular composure of someone who has nothing left to perform. The office freezes. Claire watches. Suzette and Renee recalibrate in real time, the architecture of their victory dissolving the moment Catherine makes clear that Anna is her chosen liaison, the person she trusts, the person she has chosen to work with directly. Claire absorbs this development with the efficient pragmatism of someone who has survived this industry by being adaptable above all else. Anna is reinstated, not out of sentimentality, but because Catherine's collection is too valuable to lose, and Anna is the mechanism that secured it. The auction itself is a triumph. The Bravo collection draws numbers that make the room lean forward, that justify every risk, that cement Claire's London operation as something formidable. Anna watches the final bids from across the room with a quiet that is different from the quiet of uncertainty. This is earned stillness. This is what she came for. But William isn't there. He didn't come. And that absence, in the middle of a room full of everything she worked toward, has a specific weight that success doesn't lift. She looks once toward the door. Then she turns back to the work, because that's what you do when you've learned the hard way that some things require a different kind of courage. Anna finds William at a park, coaching a children's football team, a detail that says everything about the version of him she originally misjudged. He's not in a boardroom. He's not leveraging anything. He's just here, in the ordinary world, giving his attention to a group of kids who don't care who he is or what he owns. She approaches with the directness of someone who has run out of moves that aren't honest. She apologizes, not for who she is, but for who she pretended to be, and for the ways that pretending made her unfair to him. She asks if they can start again, cleanly, from the beginning. He tells her he turned down the job in New York. That starting something with her while living a different life in a different city would be asking for a kind of difficulty neither of them should manufacture. She nods. She lets him go. 6 months pass in a single cut. Anna is back in New York, running her own gallery, not as someone's assistant, not as an intern, not as a managed version of herself, but as the person she always was, now with the room to prove it. Her first showing is tonight. Claire appears, which is itself a form of respect. And then, just as Anna is saying goodbye to the last guest, the door opens again. William is standing there. He says he wanted to see her. He says that what they had was real, and real things deserve a second chance. She looks at him, and this time, there is nothing between them but the truth.